This is the video review for Transformers War for Cybertron Deluxe Class Megatron. Whoa! This one's got 3 cannons. Yeah, I bought 3 of this figure. For 1, I like him that much. For 2, I like his cannons that much. And for 3, normally he requires some part forming, in that you have to take the cannon off his back and then stick it onto his arm. But this way, he is armored to the core, and there's no part forming involved. So, if nothing else, just this. I mean, normally he's supposed to be a tank, but this, I would call this a gun sled. And it's badass. It's sort of reminiscent of Beast Wars Rampage's tank mode, although smaller and maybe not quite as intimidating, but Rampage was something special, so not a knock against it. This is, for its size, pretty intimidating. And of course, all 3 missiles would fire, but I don't have them with me. I don't know what happened to them. Don't care either, because they're just missiles. And now, unfortunately, in this configuration, he can't roll. And normally, the way he would be transformed, he would, you can see some wheels in here. Those would be facing down. So here, he's sort of resting on the bottoms of his arms. So, no risk of damage, and I don't know, it still kind of looks like nothing like he normally does. Like, you take off the 2 cannons here and put his arms right, he'll still look good, but in a way where he still doesn't look like anything, if you know what I mean. It's a Cybertronian alt mode. Still, I like it. It's effective, does what it needs to do, it hides the robot mode pretty well, and the robot mode's really what this figure is all about. This, I would equate it more to a storage mode or a gun emplacement mode. Like, he has to turn his power up to 11, and he needs to make sure that he's not going to go flying back because he's not properly grounded. Yeah. I mean, either way, it's badass. So, to transform it, first thing you'll do is you will untab these plates from the top, and you will rotate them down and fold them flat, and fold up these tiny flaps. And turn him around. Then you will take his shoulders and pull them out. You'll take this bit, pull it up, and hinge it to the side. Rotate up his head, and then take his chest piece and rotate it up into place. Then you will open up his forearms, and in here you will see the halves of his hands. And it's actually really hard to get these flipped out. In fact, every time I transform this guy into alt mode, I'm tempted just to leave the hands out, especially since I have the 3 cannons. I wanted to show how difficult it kind of is to get these out, because there's not really a tab here, and I don't have nails. And this really is the one problem I have with this figure, just how hard it is to get these out. I mean, this is ridiculous. There. I'm starting to get it. There, I got it. And now for the other side. Yeah, see, it's a pretty nice looking hand, though a little bit of lockdown syndrome with it bending in, but I don't mind. Aha. And there you have Megatron in robot mode with 3 fusion cannons. And believe me, this looks awesome. His robot mode normally looks really cool, but this is amazing. 3 cannons, this is exactly what Megatron needs to be. I mean, just for a deluxe figure, although I know this costs around $30 to assemble, it has massive shelf presence. For a deluxe size figure, it's just, this figure really stands out. This is probably the best War for Cybertron figure, even if you only have the 1 cannon. Now for articulation, this is the only place this figure kind of suffers, and it's in the arms. You can get used to it, but it's not... It's kind of like you shouldn't have to, though. So, the arms go forward and back, and only out that far. And if you rotate them back... Well, I've modified mine a little bit so that I've cut away some of the plastic that intrudes. But normally, if you rotate his arms back, they're just forced to be... Not perfectly straight like that, but about like that, so you don't get much range, and that really annoyed me until I went in there and fixed it myself. And then he has a really nice elbow. Acts like a double jointed elbow, and it leaves a little bit of a gap, but not really, not like on Classics Hot Rod. And then he doesn't have a bicep swivel, or not a real one. He has this kind of joint that it separates there, and it can only go out. So it can do its job, but it's a little bit awkward, especially because if you straighten out his arm entirely, you don't have access to the joint. So it takes some getting used to, but once you figure out how to mess with this figure, it's not as bad as you might think. Then he can look down, and there's a cannon behind his head. You can't look that much more up, and his head can turn around 360. His legs are really well done. Forward, back, out, rotate above the knee, and he has basically 180 with his a 180 knee joint, with only his big feet bumping into the back of his torso, getting in the way. And then his feet, they go forward, back, and side to side. So this guy gets really stable poses. And his feet are really where this figure wins, because, well, it's a feat that make something look solid and powerful. And then just having the cannons on his arms, those make the arms look powerful, even though they don't do everything they should. So he can compensate for all of his shortcomings, although I wish he didn't have the shortcomings in the first place. He's a nice figure, and I recommend picking him up 3 times. So, yeah, that's how much he makes up for the problems with his arms. It's that with everything else he does, the arms are an insignificant problem. And that's all, really. Thanks for watching.